However difficult life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. Remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet. We are just an advanced breed of monkeys on a minor planet of a very average star. But we can understand the universe. That makes us something very special. Intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. The universe doesn't allow perfection. My goal is simple. It is a complete understanding of the universe, why it is as it is and why it exists at all. Quiet people have the loudest minds. I have noticed that even those who assert that everything is predestined and that we can change nothing about it still look before they cross the street. Life would be tragic if it weren't funny. One of the basic rules of the universe is that nothing is perfect. Perfection simply doesn't exist. We only have to look at ourselves to see how intelligent life might develop into something we wouldn't want to meet. People who boast about their IQ are losers. The thing about smart people is that they seem like crazy people to dumb people. I'm just a child who has never grown up. I still keep asking these how and why questions. Occasionally, I find an answer. Work gives you meaning and purpose, and life is empty without it. If you are lucky enough to find love, remember it is there and don't throw it away. Keeping an active mind has been vital to my survival, as has been maintaining a sense of humor. Science is not only a disciple of reason, but also one of romance and passion. The past, like the future, is indefinite and exists only as a spectrum of possibilities. I have lived with the prospect of an early death for the last 49 years. I'm not afraid of death, but I'm in no hurry to die. I have so much I want to do first. Try to make sense of what you see and wonder about what makes the universe exist. Be curious. People won't have time for you if you are always angry or complaining. Although I cannot move, and I have to speak through a computer, in my mind I am free. There is no prescribed route to follow to arrive at a new idea. You have to make the intuitive leap. We are all different, but we share the same human spirit. Perhaps it's human nature that we adapt and survive. Science is beautiful when it makes simple explanations of phenomena or connections between different observations. Mankind's greatest achievements have come about by talking, and its greatest failures by not talking. It surprises me how disinterested we are today about things like physics, space, the universe, and philosophy of our existence, our purpose, our final destination. It's a crazy world. The victim should have the right to end his life if he wants, but I think it would be a great mistake. However bad life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. Einstein was wrong when he said, God does not play dice. Consideration of black holes suggests not only that God does play dice, but that he sometimes throws them where they can't be seen. I believe alien life is quite common in the universe, although intelligent life is less so. Some say it has yet to appear on planet Earth. The universe is not indifferent to our existence. It is actively hostile. I don't think the human race will survive the next 1,000 years unless we spread into space. Even if there is only one possible unified theory, it is just a set of rules and equations. What is it that breathes fire into the equations and makes a universe for them to describe? My expectations were reduced to 0 when I was 21. Everything since then has been a bonus. Time travel used to be thought of as just science fiction, but Einstein's general theory of relativity does allow for time travel. Women, they are a complete mystery. I regard the brain as a computer which will stop working when its components fail. There is no heaven or afterlife for broken down computers. That is a fairy story for people afraid of the dark. Science can lift people out of poverty and cure disease. That in turn will reduce civil unrest. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. We should seek the greatest value of our action. God may exist, but science can explain the universe without the need for a creator. Most sets of values would regard the acceptance of the universe as it is as defeat. There is a fundamental difference between religion, which is based on authority, and science, which is based on observation and reason.
Exploration is in our nature. We began as wanderers, and we are wanderers still. No one undertakes research in physics with the intention of winning a prize. It is the joy of discovering something no one knew before. The increase in entropy is what makes the arrow of time point forward. I believe the simplest explanation is, there is no God. No one created the universe and no one directs our fate. Imaginary time is a new dimension, at right angles to ordinary, real time. Disability need not be an obstacle to success. However bad life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. While there's life, there is hope. The role of science is to explain and predict, not to create moral values. Computers will overtake humans with AI within the next 100 years. When that happens, we need to make sure the computers have goals aligned with ours. Black holes ain't so black. To confine our attention to terrestrial matters would be to limit the human spirit. Only time, whatever that may be, will tell. Many people find the universe confusing. It's not. The human capacity for guilt is such that people can always find ways to blame themselves. Stem cell research is the key to developing cures for degenerative conditions like Parkinson's and motor neuron disease, from which I and many others suffer. The laws of physics can be used to explain the universe, but they cannot explain why the universe exists. God not only plays dice, he also sometimes throws the dice where they cannot be seen. AI could be the biggest event in the history of our civilization, or the worst. We just don't know. Real science can be far stranger than science fiction and much more satisfying. Equations are just the boring part of mathematics. I attempt to see things in terms of geometry. Keeping your mind active is the key to keeping your life meaningful. Remember that the universe is a grand book which cannot be read unless one first learns to comprehend the language. There could be shadow galaxies, shadow stars, and even shadow people. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Science predicts that many different kinds of universe will be spontaneously created out of nothing. It is a matter of chance which we are in. Most of the threats we face come from the progress we've made in science and technology. The universe is governed by science, but science tells us that we can't solve the equations directly in the abstract. I have no idea what my IQ is. People who boast about their IQ are losers. Eternity is a very long time, especially towards the end. Although I'm severely limited physically, I'm not limited mentally. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. The meaning of life is what you choose it to be. Even if it turns out that time travel is impossible, it is important that we understand why it is impossible. The whole history of science has been the gradual realization that events do not happen in an arbitrary manner. Science is increasingly answering questions that used to be the province of religion. Only in the trivial case where the universe is completely empty would the arrow of time be symmetric. Some people would claim that things like love, joy, and beauty belong to a different category from science and can't be described in scientific terms, but I think they can now be explained by the theory of evolution. Many badly needed goals, like fusion and cancer cure, would be achieved much sooner if we invested more. Cosmology is a science which has only a few observable facts to work with. The universe is a machine governed by principles or laws that can be understood by the human mind. Observation suggests that the universe is expanding at an ever-increasing rate. Anyone who has ever been in love knows that love is a form of madness. Science makes people reach selflessly for truth and objectivity. It teaches people to accept reality with wonder and admiration. We are all now connected by the internet, like neurons in a giant brain. Time is a great teacher, but unfortunately it kills all its pupils. The universe would not be the same without you. Success in creating AI would be the biggest event in human history. It might also be the last. I believe things cannot make themselves impossible. Remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet. Never give up work. Work gives you meaning and purpose, and life is empty without it. If you are lucky enough to find love, remember it is rare and don't throw it away.